Okay, welcome to episode 5 of CSS Grid. We're going to create a grid within a grid. Holy shit, gridception. Turning an element into a grid only affects the behavior of its direct descendants. So by turning a direct descendant into a grid, you have a grid within a grid. Oh my god. For example, by setting the display and grid template components properties... Wait, grid template columns. Did I say columns? Columns properties of the element with the item3 class, you create a grid within a grid. One day I will add sound effects, but for now we're just gonna go with or like the bomb. Turn the element with the item3 class into a grid with 2 columns with width auto and 1 FR. So display will be a grid. It's now a grid. And the grid template columns, they want auto and 1 fraction. So now item 3 is a grid, with 1 being automatically column width to the length of the text plus the small amount of buffering. If that is even buffering, I'm not sure. And then 2 being just the entire remainder. 1 out of 1 of the remainder, because we only have 1. And what if I did a third one? As emptiness. Okay. Period. Doesn't work. So that's what they want us to do. Now we have a web design project we can start working on. So I might chalk this into one entire video or keep cutting it at 10-minute segments because I like taking a quick break every 10 minutes to just like stand up and not sit down so much and go drink some water. Okay, introduction to the responsive web design projects. Time to put your newly learned skills to work. By working on projects, you would have the opportunity of applying all the skills, principles, and concepts you have learned so far in HTML, CSS, visual design, accessibility. So we're going to make a tribute page, a survey form, a product landing page, a technical documentation page, and a personal portfolio web page. So now if you do all 5 of these, we will have 5 responsive websites you can put in your online portfolio, look really good. And I mean, even the final one is literally a portfolio web page. So I guess you'd have this. Your web page itself can be part of your portfolio if it's a web. If you're trying to make an online portfolio for web dev, your online website better be pretty fucking good. I mean, obviously. So, build a tribute page. So, I'm going to do these later actually, because I want to go through the entirety of all the HTML again before I do this. So we just did grid, and this is the projects. So what I want to do is, I want to redo the entirety of all of these before we go any further. So I might end the video here, and then I'll start doing this one again, and then we can do the entirety of that, do the entirety of this, do the entirety of this, do the entirety of this, etc. Flexbox. And we already did grid. So we started at the very end, but that's fine. We'll do this entirety to just get a refresher, and then work on these 5 projects. It'll look really good. And since I want to make this video 10 minutes long, let's look at the entirety of what's available on this website. This is freecodecamp.org. Check it out, make an account. Check out my Hank Hill picture, pretty dope. So then we have JavaScript, where the goal of this is to make, I've already done a few, is to make data structured projects. So I've finished these ones. So JavaScript's a very easy language. It's very like flexible. And it also pairs very nicely with web design, because a lot of websites allow JavaScript to be run on them. So that'd be a great thing to go through also. Front-end library certification. So here is when you're learning Bootstrap, jQuery, Sass, React, Redux together. And with the projects with these would be a drum machine, which we can look at that. That sounds pretty cool, actually. So here's the drum machine. This is to test if your drum machine works. I want an example of the drum machine. Let's go to this. Fork me. So this is the example drum machine. I'm also a musician, so let's. Anyways, if you're still watching, what else do we have on this? We have also a Pomodoro clock, so that's what we can look forward to. Pomodoro appears to be a 25 on, 5 off clock, and let's make it really short to see what it does. This is my kind of clock. I'm joking. I work hard as fuck, but as a joke, here's my kind of clock. 1 minute of work, 5 minutes of break. That's a typical Scrubs clock. Don't be a scrub. Work hard as fuck every day of the motherfucking week. But let's see what happens when we reach 0. So while that's counting down, let's see what else we have. Data visualization. JSON's JavaScript object notation. So there's a lot of, it's kind of just making charts and graphs with this, just visualizing data, as you know, it's pretty obvious. 300 hours, that's very big for just 3 modules. But the projects must be pretty intense. Okay, apps and microservices. So, APIs and microservices certification. So I've done a bit of Node, NPM. Okay, there's our alarm. It's now break time. So that's pretty cool. It'll show you It'll give you a 1 minute on, 5 minute off, and you can customize that. It's pretty cool. Pomodoro. Let's look at what else we have. We have for the projects, URL shortener microservice. So this is a URL shortener. Let's go to the greatest website ever made, RuneScape.com. Maybe you have to do. I can post a URL to project URL. I'll receive a shortened URL in the JSON response. So you have to follow this exact format. http://. So it's shortened to 1723. That's interesting. So now if we want to use it, we have to do, it was 1723. If we go here, we go to 1723. It's not seem to be working. Am I doing it wrong? So this project URL. So maybe I'm not doing it right, but that's an interesting thing. That's how they're shortening URLs, I guess. Because there's all those services doing that, must be doing some kind of profit off of it, or why would they do it? Information security and quality assurance certification. So security with Helmet JavaScript, Helmet, protection. Quality assurance testing with Chime. Let's go even deeper with this kind of stuff. Advanced Node and Express. So that's pretty, Node is kind of like an online database of, just kind of like programs, and you have to like log in through the command prompt. It's very interesting. Did a bit of that. So I guess you can log someone out, or maybe it's logging someone out of something else. For the projects, it'll be a stock price checker, a NASDAQ stock price checker. So I mean, if you put all these things on your website, you're gonna look pretty spiffy, and you're gonna probably get a job. So, and then they have thousands of hours of interview prep. So these are questions they likely ask you in interviews. So they might ask all this stuff when you're, or they might give you a take-home project. So they typically give you either a take-home project, you have a day or two to work on it, or maybe a week, or they give you some in-interview challenges. So these are the Rosetta Code problems. So here you want, Rosetta Stone is kind of a magical stone that can translate things to any language, make you understand any language. So here the Rosetta Code, you want to present these things in as many languages as possible to just enhance your knowledge of code. That's pretty cool. Take-home projects. Project Euler. So these are Euler. Hell yeah, I knew that. And then, of course, I knew that. I'm a mathematician. This is mathematical computer programming problems meant to delve into unfamiliar areas and learn new concepts in a fun and recreational manner. Is inductive chain learning. By solving the problem will expose you to a new concept that you did not even know existed to solve it. So this is a very good luck. By listing the first 6 prime numbers, we can see the 6th prime number is 13. What is the nth prime number? So it's a prime number calculator. That's fun. I've made one of those before. It's good, very good practice. It can be computational heavy if you aren't careful. So there's all these great problems you can solve. Let's go to the hardest one. The last question. Consider all the words which can be formed by selecting letters in any order from the phrase "There is as yet insufficient data for a meaningful answer." Suppose those with 15 letters or less are listed in alphabetical order, numbered sequentially starting at 1. The list would include "15 letters or less are listed in alphabetical order, sequentially starting at 1. So these are all the possible words. Define W of P as the word in position P. We can see that P of W and W of P are inverses. Word 10. So here it's going to be you can put in a string of these letters and you'll get the position, or you give the position, it'll give you the string of letters that corresponds to the alphabetical, every word formed through this. That's very interesting. And word being defined as just a string of text in alphabetical order. Every possible string of text you can make out of this that are 15 letters or less. So find legionary calorimeters, annihilate orchestrated fluttering. So that's pretty cool. Turn the star sun. We can cheese it. It's pretty cool. A lot of interesting things you can do here just to practice, but I mean, honestly, you might want to just make nice looking websites because that's how you're going to make your money. But this is good to just get your coding skills up. Maybe do like a few of them every day to stay sharp and not atrophy. If you're not currently working in code, you want to put maybe like an hour or 2 a day into it. If you've spent all this time getting up to speed, you want to maintain and slightly increase every day. So these are really just good to go through. I go through them pretty frequently, at least all the HTML stuff, just to stay sharp whenever I have free time. So I can, when I'm actually making a website, I can do it in a reasonable time frame. So thank you for watching. That concludes our CSS Grid plus a little bonus video here. Like, subscribe, comment, favorite. Is favoriting still a thing? I'm old. I'm not that old, but when YouTube was a thing back in my day, favoriting was a huge thing. Thumbs up the video. I have a Patreon below you can check out. I also have an email below. You can send me an email for coding questions. I'll answer them on a video. Or if you have you want private tutoring or you want some kind of website development work done, send me an email. Or if you have a need, if you're hiring for a project, I could be interested in working on that. So thank you for watching. Have a great day.